Hidden within the excitement of Universal Orlando are attractions that have vanished over the years, leaving behind only memories and the echoes of screams. Some were replaced by newer technologies, others retired quietly due to mounting costs, and a few became legends among theme park enthusiasts. Today, we'll take you behind the gates to explore 5 iconic attractions that no longer exist in their original form. From terrifying mechanical sharks to towering animatronic apes, these are the rides that shaped Universal Orlando's history and then disappeared forever, making way for the next generation of thrills. 1. Jaws, the ride that almost sank. When Universal Studios Florida opened on June 7, 1990, Jaws was meant to be the park's flagship attraction. Guests boarded tour boats for what seemed like a peaceful journey around Amity Island, only to be stalked by a 24-foot mechanical great white shark. The ride promised to bring Steven Spielberg's iconic film to life, with cutting-edge animatronics and explosive special effects. However, Jaws became Universal's most troubled opening day attraction. Technical malfunctions plagued the ride from day one. The massive shark animatronic frequently broke down, sensors failed to trigger effects properly, and boats often stalled in the lagoon. Just 2 months after opening, Jaws closed indefinitely in August 1990, becoming an expensive embarrassment for the fledgling theme park. It took 3 years and millions of dollars to completely redesign the attraction. When Jaws finally reopened in 1993, it featured simpler but more reliable technology, including multiple smaller shark figures instead of one massive animatronic. The revamped ride became a beloved classic, with boat skippers delivering memorable performances as they protected guests from the relentless predator. Despite its popularity, rising maintenance costs and the need for expansion space led to Jaws' final closure on January 2, 2012. The ride was demolished to make way for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley. Today, only a small tribute remains: the shark hanging in the Chez Alcatraz restaurant at City Walk, serving as a nostalgic reminder of Universal's most infamous mechanical fish. 2. Kongfrontation, when King Kong ruled New York. Opening alongside Jaws on June 7, 1990, Kongfrontation transported guests into the climactic battle scene from the 1976 King Kong remake. The attraction began with riders boarding aerial trams in a recreation of a New York subway station, supposedly evacuating Manhattan as the giant ape rampaged through the city. The ride's centerpiece was a massive 54-foot-tall animatronic King Kong, one of the largest and most complex figures ever created for a theme park. As trams traveled through detailed recreations of New York landmarks, including the Queensboro Bridge and Roosevelt Island, Kong would suddenly appear, grabbing and shaking the tramcars while roaring with earth-shaking intensity. The banana scent pumped into the air, and the realistic city sets made guests feel like they were truly experiencing a monster movie. Kong's intimidating presence was achieved through hydraulic systems that could move 6,000 pounds of animatronic ape with surprising grace. The attention to detail extended beyond the star attraction. Crashed helicopters, damaged buildings, and emergency broadcasts created a convincing disaster scenario. However, like many of Universal's early attractions, Kongfrontation suffered from high maintenance demands. The massive animatronic required constant repairs, and the ride's complex systems frequently malfunctioned. By 2002, Universal made the difficult decision to close Kongfrontation permanently to make room for Revenge of the Mummy, a high-speed indoor roller coaster. The closure marked the end of an era for Universal's large-scale animatronic spectacles. Today, only subtle references remain throughout the parks, but Kongfrontation is still remembered as one of Universal's most ambitious and impressive opening day attractions. 3. Dragon Challenge, the duel that ended. Originally known as Dueling Dragons, this twin roller coaster opened on May 28, 1999, as the centerpiece of Universal's Lost Continent-themed area. The attraction featured 2 intertwined B&M inverted coasters, Fire Dragon, Chinese Fireball, and Ice Dragon, Hungarian Horntail, each offering a completely different ride experience. What made Dueling Dragons unique was its synchronized dueling element. The two trains launched simultaneously, racing through identical layouts but mirrored designs, creating 3 near-miss moments where riders came within inches of each other at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. The sensation of another coaster screaming past your head was unlike anything else in the theme park world. The ride's elaborate medieval theming included detailed queue areas with authentic props, armor, and mystical artifacts. Each coaster had its own distinct character. Fire Dragon was more intense with tighter curves, while Ice Dragon featured longer inversions and higher drops. When the Wizarding World of Harry Potter opened in 2010, the attraction was re-themed as Dragon Challenge, incorporating it into the Tri-Wizard Tournament storyline. However, safety concerns led Universal to stop the dueling operation in 2011 after several incidents involving loose articles hitting riders from the adjacent track. Without its signature dueling element, Dragon Challenge lost much of its appeal. The ride closed permanently on September 4, 2017, to make way for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Many coaster enthusiasts consider the loss of the dueling mechanism one of the most tragic changes in theme park history, as no other park has attempted to recreate this unique experience. Door. Earthquake, the big one. Disaster strikes. Earthquake, the Big One opened on June 7, 1990 as one of Universal's most immersive disaster simulations. The attraction placed guests in the middle of a catastrophic 8.3 magnitude earthquake striking a San Francisco BART subway station, recreating scenes from the 1974 film Earthquake. The experience began in a detailed recreation of an underground subway platform. Once the earthquake began, guests witnessed practical effects that were revolutionary for their time. A 65,000-pound truck crashed through the ceiling. A propane truck exploded in massive fireballs. The floor shook with hydraulic systems, and a devastating flood of 65,000 gallons of water rushed through the station. The attraction's most memorable moment came when the ceiling began to collapse, with massive concrete slabs made of lightweight foam appearing to crush guests. Sparks flew from damaged electrical systems, and the air filled with smoke and debris. The entire sequence lasted about 4 minutes, but the intensity made it feel much longer. Earthquake became famous for its incredibly realistic practical effects and the genuine fear it inspired in riders. Unlike modern attractions that rely heavily on screens and digital effects, Earthquake used old-school Hollywood magic: real fire, real water, and convincing physical destruction. The attraction closed on November 5, 2007, and was replaced by Disaster, a major motion picture ride starring you, which added a comedic element to the disaster simulation. While the new version maintained some original effects, many fans felt it lacked the genuine terror and intensity that made Earthquake the Big One a classic Universal experience. 5. Twister. Ride It Out into the Storm. Opening on May 4, 1998, Twister, Ride It Out brought guests face to face with nature's most destructive force. Based on the 1996 blockbuster film Twister, the attraction simulated the experience of standing in the path of an F5 tornado, complete with 110-mile-per-hour winds and flying debris. The experience began with a pre-show featuring actors Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt explaining tornado science and storm chasing. Guests then entered a detailed recreation of a small Oklahoma town, complete with a drive-in movie theater, Aunt Meg's house, and authentic Midwest storefronts. When the tornado struck, the attraction unleashed one of theme park's most impressive practical effects shows. A 5-story funnel cloud dominated the scene, created using sophisticated lighting and projection techniques. Real wind machines generated powerful gusts that guests could feel from the safety of the viewing area. A cow, nicknamed the Flying Cow by fans, spun overhead. Lumber and debris flew through the air, and the entire town appeared to be demolished before guests' eyes. The attraction's sound design was particularly impressive. The roar of the tornado was so realistic that some guests instinctively ducked when debris appeared to fly toward them. The 110-mile-per-hour winds were strong enough that guests needed to hold on to railings, and the experience included rain effects that added to the realism. Twister closed on November 2, 2015, to make way for Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, a screen-based attraction that opened in 2017. The closure marked the end of another practical effects spectacular, as Universal continued its shift toward digital and screen-based experiences. These 5 attractions represent a golden age of practical effects and immersive storytelling at Universal Orlando. While each closure made way for newer technologies and experiences, something irreplaceable was lost. The visceral thrill of massive animatronics, real explosions, and practical effects that convinced guests they were truly in danger. Today's rides may be smoother and more reliable, but they rarely match the raw intensity of these classics. If you were lucky enough to experience any of these legendary attractions, you witnessed theme park history. What was your favorite lost Universal attraction? Share your memories below and subscribe for more forgotten stories.